Right now, there's a visible fracture in the pricing model for computing power. We're seeing 30 to 80. The existence of this gray market discount curve offers empirical proof that standard demand assumption is flawed. You do not resell what you need to run your own product. Because providers do not publicly publish utilization rates on committed spend, this dynamic creates a price signal where none existed before. Tracking this discount curve allows us to observe the tech industry's overcommitment of unused AI capacity in real time. Security researcher Matt Lenhard recently went undercover into this secondary market to investigate exactly how these unused AI credits were being moved. He found 4 distinct types of intermediaries controlling the supply: direct brokers reachable by cold email, dedicated credit marketplaces, bulk discount routers, and underground message boards. The sheer scale of the available inventory surfaced immediately. The very first direct broker to answer an email pitched an offering of $100,000 in token spend per day. To understand what we're looking at, we have to look back at Lenhardt's previous investigation into the related stolen credential wing of the token relay market. That stolen credential wing moves hijacked provider keys, and it clears those keys at a steep 97.8% discount. This graph maps the difference. The red line dropping to a 97.8% discount illustrates the theft wing. The yellow line represents the new broker market, clearing at a shallower 30 to 80% discount. The gap between them is the market's specific, quantifiable price on legitimacy. Analyzing these two wings side by side proves that discount depth is the diagnostic tool for determining exactly where a token supply came from. The mechanics of how these discounted credits are delivered to builders reveals exactly what buyers are actually trading for that lower price. The critical catch in these transactions is that buyers do not receive standard provider keys to integrate into their own local stack. Instead, the token spend is delivered strictly as a proxy API endpoint that is now controlled entirely by the broker. This flowchart illustrates the infrastructure reality: your infrastructure on the left, the AI provider on the right. Between them sits an opaque intermediary. Every single user prompt must enter that gray box, creating a massive data vulnerability disguised as a procurement choice. Bulk routers in this space, like CheapCredits, publicly advertise a flat 40% off every single provider model they offer. Achieving a flat 40% discount organically is mathematically unlikely, unless the buyer is one of a provider's top-tier enterprise customers. Sustaining these unnatural bulk discounts across every single model likely requires alternative supply acquisition methods that inherently compromise data integrity. Beyond data exposure, routing production architecture through an unverifiable brokered API endpoint introduces direct operational fragility. Because the proxy endpoint is heavily pooled among multiple anonymous buyers, it inherently introduces a single point of catastrophic failure. One single upstream key revocation by the provider instantly kills the entire shared service without a second of warning. Brokers often try to mitigate the perceived risk by promising to bill buyers only after a specific usage milestone is hit. The reality of milestone billing on a shared network is that someone else's credit card chargeback on the pooled key becomes your immediate production outage. If you want the next technical breakdown of market mechanics like this the day it lands, hit subscribe. The risks to data integrity and service uptime make these endpoints unusable for standard customer-facing traffic. There is only a single defensible use case: interruptible batch or evaluation workloads, where complete data loss mid-run is financially acceptable. Even in narrow use cases, the builder is still voluntarily shipping proprietary prompts directly to complete strangers. This entire investigation faces a specific data gap: the absence of verifiable transaction settlement. Not a single token transaction detailed in the Undercover article was actually completed or verified. We have to re-examine that staggering $100,000 per day figure pitched by the direct broker earlier. That $100,000 figure remains a seller's unverified claim inside a private chat. Lenhardt's own test listings included $210,000 in face value OpenAI and Anthropic credits. Here we see a dashboard displaying those specific test listings, which ended the investigation completely stranded in an administrative holding pattern. The economic reality of these marketplaces is that posting fake or duplicated supply costs the intermediaries absolutely nothing. Because every single number we have is strictly based on offered inventory, the estimate of tens of millions in market size must be treated as a claim, not a measurement. The true scale and reality of the secondary market now hinges entirely on two falsifiable future events. The first necessary confirmation vector is a verified, settled token transaction that successfully clears the marketplace. The delivered credits from that settled transaction must then subsequently survive direct scrutiny and auditing by the AI provider itself. If those test listings simply die in limbo instead, it proves the massive volume we are seeing is merely listing theater. This illustrates the second confirmation vector, a wave of enforcement actions initiated by OpenAI or Anthropic. This crackdown must actively target and revoke the pooled proxy endpoints routing the traffic. Ironically, a massive revocation wave would confirm the token broker market is entirely real. Until one of those events happens, the resale market is not a guaranteed source of cheap compute. It is a fragile, temporary mirror reflecting the tech industry's overbooked AI commitments.